Next doctor.
How are you?
I can't. 12 today is for you. 12 today. I have to. I was actually in the same hotel that she passed in.
At the Beverly Hilton?
Yes, and we were all getting ready for the Clive Grammy party, yes.
That was the first big mistake. For her to come in an entire week before her performance at the party. I'd have never done that. And whoever flew her out to perform at that party should have provided someone to be there.
Whitney Houston, a name synonymous with unparalleled talent and success, left us all in shock and sorrow when she passed away on February 11th, 2012. But did she see it coming? Well, it seems Brandy is about to share what Whitney revealed to her hours before her demise.
How are you?
I can't. 12 today is for you. 12 today. I have to.
It was just hours before Whitney's tragic death when she handed a note to fellow singer Brandy. This note has been shrouded in mystery for years, and its contents were never revealed. Until now, Brandy has finally leaked the note, and what it says might just change everything we thought we knew about Whitney's last moments.
Do you understand
God.
what that feeling must be like?
I understand what that feels like. I don't understand to that degree, but I understand.
Whitney's final actions suggest a deep sense of exhaustion and a cry for help. But what was Whitney tired of? And why did she feel the need to pass this note to Brandy just before her death?
So she lit up your life.
She lit up my life. She lit up the room. I knew that I had to sign her.
Clive Davis, the legendary music producer who discovered Whitney and helped catapult her to stardom, was also present at the same pre-Grammy event. Many have speculated about the nature of their relationship and whether Clive's relentless push for success took a toll on Whitney. Whitney's struggles with addiction and the pressures of fame are well documented. But could there be more to the story? Some believe that the note to Brandy indicates Whitney knew her time was near. Theories have emerged suggesting foul play or a deeper conspiracy involving those closest to her, including Clive Davis. So, what really happened to Whitney Houston? Let's take a closer look at the official reports and the various theories that have emerged. Firstly, the revelations surrounding Clive Davis and his potential to profit from Whitney Houston's untimely demise have sent shockwaves through the music industry. These discoveries have shed light on the notorious death clause, a provision that has long been shrouded in secrecy and controversy. This clandestine clause, also known as a non-performance or failure of performance clause, raises grave concerns due to its alarming implications. As findings have unveiled, the death clause is a contractual stipulation that grants record companies an astonishing level of power and potential for profiting, even in the face of an artist's untimely demise. This seemingly nefarious maneuver ensures that labels are not only entitled to recoup their investments, but also to lay claim to a substantial portion of the deceased artist's earnings from various revenue streams.
Think about this for a moment. When an artist signs his name on the dotted line to a record company, the record company will in many cases own all of the masters for the songs recorded under that contract. And when an artist signs to a major label, it's safe to say that their death is in many ways factored into the initial investment. And in many ways, after an artist has peaked in popularity, there becomes an awkward point in their career where the artist is worth more to them dead than alive.
The mechanism through which this clause operates is shrouded in secrecy, yet it essentially empowers companies to secure hefty insurance policies against the projected earnings of their artists. In a twisted turn of events, this provision renders record labels as beneficiaries of both the life and death of the very talents they are meant to nurture and promote. The origins of the death clause can be traced back to a bygone era when the corridors of power within the music industry were controlled by shadowy figures, evoking scenes reminiscent of a noir thriller. It appears that this clause was meticulously crafted to guarantee the financial security and influence of record labels, even if it meant profiting from the tragic loss of an artist's life. At its core, the death clause suggests that an artist who fails to meet performance obligations or repay advances becomes an even more lucrative asset in death. This perverse reality has only grown more pronounced over time, as the clause has evolved from a provision valued in thousands to one now worth potentially billions. This escalation is a direct result of the colossal investments that labels routinely make in nurturing and promoting burgeoning talents. The insurance policies procured under the death clause serve as a safeguard against potential losses in the event of an artist's incapacity or demise, thereby protecting the label's investments and projected profits. Amidst the whirlwind of these revelations, speculation has intensified regarding the extent of Clive Davis's involvement with the death clause and its potential implications. As a music industry titan and the mastermind behind the success of countless artists, Davis, including the inimitable Whitney Houston, questions have arisen about whether Davis reaped any benefits from the tragic loss of his most prized protege. While no concrete evidence has surfaced directly linking Davis to the exploitation of this clause, a growing chorus of artists and industry insiders have begun to come forward, painting a troubling picture of his alleged role in potentially capitalizing on the grim provisions of the death clause. Whispers that once echoed through the hallways of the music industry have now transformed into outspoken voices, as several artists have shed light on their harrowing experiences within the clutches of this dark underbelly. Their stories resonate with a common sentiment that the death clause, once a well-guarded secret, is not a relic of the past, but a contemporary reality that continues to cast its shadow over the industry. One such voice belongs to the avant-garde musician Diamanda Galás, who took to social media in the aftermath of Houston's passing to level scathing accusations against Davis. In a Facebook post, Galás referred to the record executive as a colossal pig, alleging that Houston should have been allowed to study for a minimum of 2 years with a voice therapist or teacher before even rehearsing, let alone performing on stage. Galás further claimed that the singer was put back on stage before she was ready to perform by Davis, ill-prepared and vulnerable to exploitation. Galás's diatribe did not end there. She went on to allege that Davis could now package her death in frills and sell it big time, even during the nadir of record sales, insinuating that he would capitalize on Houston's tragic passing for financial gain. Galás even went so far as to anticipate Davis's response, sarcastically quoting him as saying, "Even though we do not hope to even break even with this uncompromising tribute to Whitney Houston, we feel personally that it is her due as the foremost singer ever on our labels and as the lovely girl she always was to us." At the time, a spokesman for Davis dismissed Galás's claims as wholly inaccurate and offensive, asserting that Davis cherished Whitney and shares a mutual love for the Houston family, and that it is absolutely outrageous for anyone to suggest that Mr. Davis ever had anything but Whitney's best interest at heart. However, Galás's comments were echoed by another artist, Jaguar Wright, who in a recent interview claimed that Davis knew he needed to regain control over Houston, leading him to forcefully orchestrate her ill-fated comeback attempt in 2009.
He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
For context, Clive orchestrated Whitney's comeback in 2009 after years of substance AB and a messy relationship which ended in a messy divorce. Her debut album, I Look to You, sold 304,000 copies in its first 7 days on the market, sending Houston back to the top of the charts and giving her the best debut week of her career. Houston still stands for the best of songwriting, the best of singing, and we know the public wants it, Clive said in 2009. There is a song on this album which is called I Didn't Know My Own Strength, and it really speaks for Whitney. She tumbled, but she didn't crumble. Whitney did not release anything after that, since her voice had been ruined due to substance AB, much to Clive's disappointment. But despite the undeniable vocal decline and the unmistakable shadow cast over Whitney's star power, Clive's optimism seemingly remained unscathed. Of course, one might wonder if his rosy outlook was fueled by the substantial coin he continued to rake in from her legacy. It's difficult not to speculate whether Clive's unwavering hope was propelled by the echoes of revenue streams rather than genuine concern. In any case, it was no secret that the music mogul appeared to be more invested in making money than in his protege's well-being. You see, Whitney died on February 11th, 2012, the day before the Grammy Awards. This was hours before she was to attend Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. At the time, the public and lovers of her music worldwide were devastated by her passing. However, Davis, Whitney's self-proclaimed friend and mentor, still hosted his pre-Grammy party in the Beverly Hilton Hotel on the evening of February 11th, despite the singer's body remaining inside the building until 12:45 a.m. At the start of the event, he shared a tribute to Houston saying,
"By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing."
The Grammy Award winner continued, "I am personally devastated by the loss of someone who has meant so much to me for so many years. Whitney was so full of life. She was so looking forward to tonight, even though she wasn't scheduled to perform. Whitney was a beautiful person and a talent beyond compare. She graced this stage with her regal presence and gave so many memorable performances here over the years. Simply put, Whitney would have wanted the music to go on, and her family asked that we carry on." Whitney Houston's death on the eve of the Grammys in 2012 came as a horrific shock, if not entirely without warning. The platinum-selling singer and actress was to attend Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammys bash at the Beverly Hilton that night, but instead, she died in a room upstairs after accidentally drowning in the bathtub. It was reported at the time that the LA County Coroner's Office noted in its post-mortem findings that a white crystal-like substance was found in the room. There was also an open bottle of champagne and other personal items believed to belong to the late songstress. An autopsy was performed with the official cause of death listed as accidental drowning with atherosclerotic heart disease and cocaine use, just probably immediately prior to the drowning listed among contributing factors. Toxicology screens found Benadryl, Xanax, marijuana, and the muscle relaxant Flexeril in Whitney's system. As if Whitney's death wasn't shocking enough, her daughter Bobbi Kristina Brown died in the same way 3 years later. Bobbi Kristina Brown, who was born in 1993, was the daughter of two music icons, Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. Whitney and Bobby Brown met in 1989 and married 3 years later. While fans often assume it was Bobby who led Whitney into a dark place, the I Will Always Love You singer herself revealed that she had a part in her substance demise. Although Whitney was a star, her substance AB led to missteps along the way. As Vanity Fair noted, she often arrived late to appearances and occasionally lost gigs. In 2009, she opened up to Oprah Winfrey about her substance addiction. She had been to rehab twice at that point, once in 2004 and again in 2005, and would give sobriety another shot in 2011.
You're just sitting there and you just watch TV and you go, ha ha. That's bad.
Anyway, another celebrity who has spoken out on Clive Davis' influence on artists is Chaka Khan. Whitney Houston and Chaka Khan shared a multifaceted and deeply impactful relationship that spanned both their professional and personal lives. Their connection began in the 1980s, long before Whitney became a global superstar. Whitney Houston's initial interaction with Chaka Khan was through her mother, Cissy Houston, who was a renowned backup singer. Cissy introduced Whitney to Chaka when Whitney was just 14 years old. Chaka recalled that moment fondly, noting that Whitney's talent was evident even at such a young age.
Whitney's mom said, we were working one night and she said, I got a daughter that can sing.
Oh my God.
I said, really? Well, I'm not surprised she could sing.
This introduction marked the beginning of Whitney's early career, where she sang backup vocals on Chaka Khan's album Naughty in 1980, contributing to tracks like Clouds. Their professional relationship evolved over the years, highlighted by Whitney's iconic cover of Chaka Khan's hit I'm Every Woman. Originally released by Chaka in 1978, the song became a defining anthem of female empowerment. Whitney's rendition, released in 1993 as part of the Bodyguard soundtrack, brought renewed attention to the track. Whitney's version was a tribute to Chaka, even mentioning her in the song and featuring her in the music video, showcasing the respect and admiration she had for Chaka's work. Beyond their musical collaborations, Chaka Khan and Whitney Houston shared a sisterly bond. Chaka described Whitney as like a sister to her, reflecting on their close friendship and mutual support throughout their careers. This relationship was tested and strengthened by their shared experiences in the challenging music industry and personal struggles. Chaka Khan has been vocal about her grief over Whitney's untimely death in 2012, emphasizing the loss of not just a talented artist, but a dear friend. Anyway, recently, Chaka Khan accused Clive Davis of sending Diddy to rough her up during one of their famous spats. She described the incident so vividly that many fans were convinced she was telling the truth. Come to think of it, who hasn't been telling the truth about the founder of Bad Boy Records? Anyway, fans have been tearing into the music mogul since Chaka Khan's revelations, expecting him and his mentor to apologize for their actions, but trust Diddy to turn a deaf ear. It all started when Diddy took to Instagram to apologize for mistreating and manhandling Cassie Ventura in a video that recently made rounds on the internet. The 2 minutes video featured Cassie running from a hotel room to an elevator, which was yet to arrive. A few seconds later, Diddy followed in her wake with a towel around his waist, held Cassie, and threw her onto the floor. The music mogul then followed up with a kick before appearing to drag Cassie around the corner. Later, he is shown throwing an object at Cassie as the singer tries to get away from him. That video drew ire among many fans, who called for his arrest and incarceration. Curiously, Diddy saw the error of his ways and immediately took to Instagram to render an apology for his behavior.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Diddy then claimed that he had sought help right after that incident and was trying to become a better man as the days went by. I went and I sought out professional help and I had to go into therapy. We're going to rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry. Diddy's apology video drew mixed reactions, as some fans lambasted him for laying his hands on a woman. They claimed that the music mogul wasn't truly sorry for his actions and that he was only apologetic because cameras captured him. Others also thought that he, indeed, was sorry for his indiscretion and deserved forgiveness. But the comment that caught everyone's attention and got all tongues wagging was that of Indira Khan, daughter of Chaka Khan. Indira Khan, also known as Malini Khan, then narrated an incident when Diddy squared up to her mother when the two parties met at an event. Indira claimed that Diddy's bodyguard jumped her then 19-year-old brother when he tried to intervene. Shen then ended her comment by claiming that she was happy about everything that was happening to him and only wished him the worst. She wrote, "I'm glad this is happening to you. You got in my mother's face and publicly disrespected her, yelling and screaming like a lunatic when my little brother tried to get you out of my mother's face. Your security jumped my 19-year-old brother. These may be your dark days, but I'm singing and dancing watching your demise." At Chaka Khan, "Isn't it great, Mom?" Of course, Diddy didn't reply to Malini Khan's comments, but considering all that has happened to Diddy these past few months, we are better off believing her statements. Now, it's not certain where and when the altercation between Chaka Khan and Diddy took place, but many fans speculate that it might have happened after the vocalist publicly criticized Diddy's mentor. In 2012, the Through the Fire singer called out Clive Davis for partying when Whitney Houston. It was announced that Whitney Houston had passed on. To make matters worse, the party was at the same venue that the songstress breathed her last. To be precise, it was just a few floors below Whitney's suite. Chaka Khan didn't understand the logic behind Clive Davis's party when his mentee and signee was struggling for her dear life. She called out the music executive for being insensitive to the plight of his employees. Khan thought that Clive was insane for going ahead to organize a party at which the deceased singer was supposed to perform. "I thought that was complete insanity," Khan said. And knowing Whitney, I don't think that she would have said, "The show must go on." She's the kind of woman who would have said, "Stop everything. I'm not going to be there." I don't know what could motivate a person to have a party in the building where the person whose life he had influenced so enormously had died, and whose life has been affected by hers. I don't understand how that party went on. Chaka Khan had planned on attending Davis's annual party, but she admitted that she was paralyzed after being informed of Houston's death upon her arrival in Los Angeles. She also lashed out at those who were responsible for having the bodyguard actress in the city for a full week prior to her pre-Grammy performance.
That was the first big mistake, for her to come in an entire week before her performance at the party. I'd have never done that.
She explained that it wasn't appropriate to allow someone who's recovering from addiction to spend a whole week by herself in a hotel. Using herself as an example, Khan revealed that she often would arrive in the city a day before or on the same day she was billed to perform. This way, she was sure to avoid getting tempted to go in for drugs. "I too was an addict, and I know if I was on the set of a movie, even now, and I've been recovered for 7 years, and I found out that I was coming to a city like LA, we would have made specific plans that I come in the night before or day of performance," she said. "Especially if you have not gone in and got proper treatment and gotten your situation handled." That was the first big mistake. For her to come in an entire week before her performance at the party, I would have never done that. She then blamed her handler, which in this case includes Clive Davis, for everything that happened to Whitney Houston.
And whoever flew her out to perform at that party should have provided someone to be there.
Khan's comments opened the floodgates for several criticisms directed at the founder of Arista Records. Many fans claim that Clive Davis appeared to be expecting Whitney's demise, which explains why he partied even when the body was being conveyed from the hotel to the morgue. The music executive was dragged on social media, with many fans calling for his head. Some even claimed that Clive Davis had a hand in the demise of Whitney Houston, given that the singer was more valuable unalive than alive. A few years before the demise of Whitney, she was broke and neck-deep in debt. The singer, who had sold millions of albums, was now a poor wreck, asking friends and families for $100 handouts. Many people wondered where all her money went. She had now become a liability rather than an asset to her record label. So, according to Deep Throat sources, Clive and his cohorts thought that the only way the singer could become profitable again was when she passed away. They knew that once the world heard of the singer's demise, its sympathy would be evoked, leading to a sudden rush for Whitney's albums. They believed this rush would spike album sales, helping them recoup all the cash they spent on the bodyguard actress. They even had a perfect example, Michael Jackson. A few years before MJ's passing, he was struggling to hit the heights that everyone knew him for. His albums weren't performing well on the market, and his physical constraints wouldn't allow him to perform as he used to. However, when he passed away in 2009, his album sales skyrocketed, and he made more money for his bosses than when he was alive. So, Clive Davis and his cohorts allegedly took a leaf out of that playbook to plot their own schemes. But they had to make sure it all didn't point back to them. So instead of making Whitney pass away due to cardiac arrest, they made it look like Whitney Houston passed due to accidental drowning. Fans claimed that Davis got some guys to do his bidding, who made the whole thing look like the singer's demise was an accident. Interestingly, a private investigator, Paul Hubel, who used to work as a police officer, had a similar theory. Paul, who investigated the demise of Whitney, disagreed with the official coroner's report, claiming that the singer was eliminated by enforcers sent by drug barons. He explained that Whitney Houston owed some drug barons money, and they sent 2 muscles to come and roughen her up. However, the muscles accidentally eliminated her and quietly left the hotel. According to him, the coroner's report indicated that Whitney's hands and legs showed signs of struggling with her assailants. He stated that the water in which she drowned was still hot when the paramedics got there, meaning it was way hotter before she met her demise. Thus, he concluded that the singer was pushed into the water because no person, not even someone high on drugs, would attempt bathing in scalding hot water. Many fans accepted a majority of Hubel's report, but disagreed that Whitney was eliminated by some drug barons. Instead, they argued it was Clive who ordered a hit on Whitney Houston, which explains why he was partying downstairs with his friends. The whole incident dragged Davis's name in the mud, and he purportedly decided to punish Chaka Khan, the instigator of the backlash. Clive appeared to be the vindictive type who wouldn't let issues pass without taking his pound of flesh, which we would come to later in this video. So, the music executive informed his mentee, Diddy, about the embarrassment Chaka Khan's comment had brought him and purportedly sent the Bad Boy CEO to exact revenge on his behalf. This is why Diddy allegedly shouted at Chaka Khan at the slightest provocation with no respect for her age, pedigree, or achievements. Diddy was allegedly out for blood and nothing would stop him. Fans even thank God people were around when the incident happened, or Chaka Khan would have received a similar treatment to Cassie in the video currently trending on the internet. Also, fans were grateful that the singer's 19-year-old son and her daughter Malini were around to protect their mother from Diddy's wrath. This explains why Malini said she was happy about everything happening to Diddy right now. In her mind, he's paying for all the sins committed against her mother. Many fans hope that Diddy's mentor, Clive Davis, suffers a similar fate, given what he has allegedly done to artists on his label. Some critics see Davis as a monster who crashes the lives of his signees, especially those who refuse to do his bidding. They can't seem to forgive the veteran music producer for what he did to Whitney Houston. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.